For episode 4 of season 4, we will be featuring the stories from the pages of the Nichi Bei News, Japanese Cultural Guide, and more. Tonight, we highlight people and places with an emphasis in our Japanese and Japanese American culture. For our pastry selection, we have a story with representatives of Nikkei Matsuri, Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival, and the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival to tell you what's new with their festivals this year. For our salad selection, we catch up with the new executive director of Hakone Estate and Gardens to talk about some of their plans and visit their nighttime hanami or cherry blossom viewing. For our chef special, we catch up with the Japanese-American female lead of the award-winning musical Hamilton. For dessert, we feature a Taiko group based at the Buddhist Church of San Francisco. And of course, stick around to be treated to some news bites of happenings in our Japanese and Japanese-American community. And finally, we end the program tonight with tips of events that are coming up in the next month and beyond. So without further delay, let's start the cafe. Hi everyone, and welcome back to episode 4 of season 4 of the Nichi Bei Cafe. We want to thank all of you for tuning in and supporting us on this journey of documenting Japanese and Japanese American lifestyle. So let's get to it. Starting off with our pastry selection tonight, the Nichi Bei Cafe crew visits representatives from the Nikkei Matsuri in San Jose, the Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival, and the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival here in San Francisco's Japantown. You will find out what is new at each festival this year. Please enjoy.
For our Japanese Culture and Cherry Blossom Festivals episode, we visit organizers of 3 festivals: Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival, Nikkei Matsuri in San Jose, and the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival in San Francisco. First, we stop by Cupertino to talk with Elisa Sakas, president of the Cupertino Toyokawa Sister Cities Inc., which produces the Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival, celebrating their 41st year.
So we're really excited to be having our festival again, have a lot of returning artists, but we also always look to do something new and different each year. So a couple of new things this year. We have on the indoor stage, we're going to have a Kyudo demonstration. That's Japanese archery. We're very excited about that. We also have, we didn't have origami the last couple of years, so we're having origami return with Linda Mihara. And then our featured artist will be performing both on the indoor and outdoor stage, Kinuko Mototaki, and her many different performance groups. So she's going to be here on Sunday with some of her groups, both on the indoor stage and outdoor stage. So we really hope people will come for that. So one more thing I'm really excited about this year that's brand new is I've always wanted to have a mochisuki display, which, as you know, is a ceremonial rice pounding, and a lot of people associate that with New Year's, but it's also done at festivals. And so we've been looking around for a group to do it, and lo and behold, Foothill College students contacted us saying they would like to do it. So we're very excited to have them come on stage and do a demonstration for us. And the other thing that's really new this year is we've always had the Northern California Cherry Blossom Queen program candidates come to our festival. We introduce them on both stages as VIPs, and people love to get their pictures taken with them. This year, we are sponsoring one of the candidates, and she's from Cupertino, so she's a hometown girl. We're really excited to have her participate in this great program that really celebrates leadership within the Japanese American community. And so that's something else really exciting for this year that's going to be new. So for more information, visit our website. It's www.cupertinocbf.org for Cherry Blossom Festival. And we have our full performance schedule there, messages from the mayor, some of our articles that have run about different people in our festival and different attractions. So that's a good place to go to find out the information on our festival.
Next, we visit with Mackenzie Kinuyo Nishijima, planning committee member, who also organizes the Make and Take area. Kinoyo talks about some of the new changes coming to the Nikkei Matsuri this year.
This year, our stages are being renamed. There's going to be Machi, Hoseki, Kokoro, and Aloha. The genres will mostly be the same, like Aloha is clearly just the Hawaiian stage again, but we're trying to get out of calling things like the main stage or the indoor stage and kind of give them their own feeling. In addition to the name changes for the stages, we're going to have new activities at the Make and Take, which are held by various nonprofit organizations in the area. They're going to be doing hachimaki decoration, so the headbands, as well as uchiwa making and kendama making. And I think they're also going to do a hanko activity, so the square personal stamps. We'll also have a tea ceremony there, so it'll be all ages appropriate. It's not just for children. All right, there's free parking at the Santa Clara County lot at First and Heading, and that'll have a shuttle from that lot to the Happy House lot throughout the duration of the festival. There's free bike parking by the Silicon Valley Bike Coalition that we'll be hosting at the festival. For more information, come check out our website at nikkeimatsuri.org.
Finally, we visit Matt Nagatomi, co-chair of the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival, who talks about how the committee is adapting to the renovation of the Japantown Peace Plaza.
Hi, I'm Matthew Nagatomi, one of the co-chairs of the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival. I'm really excited for this year's rendition because while we do have our beloved Peace Plaza undergoing construction and renovation, all we're doing is we're simply moving our performances over 2 stages. So this year we'll still have our Webster stage with live music, and some of our cultural performances will go there, but we're also adding a stage into the community center right here on Sutter Street. In addition to that, we're going to add some booths onto Sutter Street for the first time in the festival's history to try to draw more attention to the center to highlight the cultural groups and the cultural exhibits we have going on. And this year, we're really excited to announce for our Grand Parade, which will be happening April 20th, our Grand Marshal is going to be My Melody from the Sanrio universe. Last year, we had Hello Kitty celebrate her 50th birthday with us as our Grand Marshal, and she had such a good time that she wanted to invite My Melody this year to come back as our Grand Marshal. And we're also really excited to announce that our community marshal is going to be the Hibakusha, which are the survivors of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This year is the 80th anniversary, so we would be honored to represent them and reflect to make sure that we don't forget about what had happened in Japan. Our dates for this year's festival are going to be April 12th, 13th, 19th, and 20th, with the Grand Parade happening on April 20th. For any more information about the festival, including cultural performances and exhibits going on, please visit nccbf.org.
A big thank you to all of the festival directors, and we wish them well on their festivals this year. For our salad, our Nichi Bei Cafe team visits Hakone Estate and Gardens, aka Hakone, and their new executive director, Meredith Lee. Meredith talks about the new plans for the gardens and allows our team to enjoy the nighttime hanami at Hakone. Please enjoy.
For the Japanese Culture and Cherry Blossom Festivals episode, the Nichi Bei Cafe crew traveled to Saratoga, California to visit the Hakone Estate and Gardens located at the base of the Santa Cruz Mountains on Highway 9. We visit with recently appointed Executive Director Meredith Lee to introduce herself, talk more about the gardens, and learn more about some of the initiatives she is endeavoring on.
Hi, my name is Meredith Lee, and I'm the new Executive Director of Hakone Estate and Gardens. I started this role in October of 2024. So I'm a 5th generation Bay Area native, and I grew up in Palo Alto. And for me, growing up, Hakone was one of few places that represented Asian culture and history, and that was really meaningful to me.
Hakone Estate and Gardens is open year-round during the daytime only, but its special time each year is at the end of March to the beginning of April, as Meredith explains.
Yeah, so we have anywhere from about 50,000 visitors annually up to 75,000. We actually peaked right after COVID, being an outdoor space. I think a lot of people were able to find us, which was really neat. Our busiest time of the year is right now, which is the Hanami season. And within that, we usually just during the day have about 15 to 16,000 people within 3 weeks. And we also open up at night. It's the only time of the year right now that we open up at night and we illuminate the gardens, and it's a special event. And we have about 6,000 to 7,000 people annually that come to that on top of that number. Night viewing, I believe, started in 2018. So it's a newer thing that my predecessor, Shozo Kagoshima, started. And, you know, they do that in Japan also, and it's really a special thing for people to come at night. And I get to hear a lot of comments, you know, that people grew up here and they came in the 70s and 80s, but, you know, they were never able to come at night, so it's special. But we, you know, have different seasons that are popular too. Before the sakura, we had the ume plum blossoms, and we're just starting to get some of our wisteria in, so we get a lot of visitors for that. And then basically from now through summer, it's a very busy season for us with the great Bay Area weather. And we do a Toro Nogashi in August. And then we previously had a moon festival that we're actually going to be reviving, and that will be in October. And this year we're actually going to do the moon festival to feature different Asian cultures and how they celebrate the moon festival. So that's, you know, part of our mission to promote all cultural exchange within different Asian cultures. So we do get pretty busy, but I'll have to say that even in the fall, it's very beautiful. The colors in autumn, the maple leaves is just gorgeous.
Maintaining an 18-acre traditional Japanese garden is no small effort, and Meredith explains some of the fundraising initiatives that will help provide this gem of a Japanese garden for generations to come.
Yeah, so we have 2 full-time gardeners. Our head gardener is Jacob Kellner, and he's been here for 17 years. And we have 3 or 4 part-time gardeners, but we have 17 acres, and it is a lot of work to maintain. So they work very hard along with all my other staff, and it is a challenge for us to maintain this, and everyone has to work together as a team. And I think the thing about Japanese landscaping in particular is it's not just, you know, a regular type of gardening. It takes about 5 years of training to really understand the pruning. Most of our trees are on a 5-year plan, and, you know, understanding each tree, how it needs to be pruned and how that affects the growing, and it's a very tedious process. You know, it's a challenge for all Japanese gardens throughout the US, but even in Japan. And, you know, we are trying very hard to preserve that, but we try very hard to maintain traditional gardening practices. So it's a really unique challenge, but also something that we feel very passionate about. Yes, so our major focus would be to renovate the koi pond. The koi pond is original to when the Stein family built this in 1915. And if you notice later, you'll see that our koi pond is actually only 18 inches deep. Most koi ponds need about 3 feet. And you know, our koi actually have adapted to having that amount of water, but it's not good for their health. And I'm not sure that, you know, 100 plus years ago, they were kind of thinking long term, and probably the style was different in building the pond. So we need to raise $4 million. And we have almost 1.5 million raised right now. So that's kind of the major focus. But we have other facilities here that need to be also renovated, lots of historic buildings. We're standing on our upper moon viewing house, which is the original building that was here, and that needs some restoration work done too. And so we're kind of looking into that as well, because part of what I'd like to do is make things more accessible to our visitors. Historically, we haven't been able to open a lot of the historical buildings because they're so fragile. One of the things I'm also exploring to fundraise for is permanent lighting in the garden that would help. Right now we rent lighting, and we don't have electricity in all parts of the garden. Focus is on like you said, sustaining Hakone for generations to come, but preserving our history. And part of our mission is to preserve not only the history, but the gardens and traditional methods and practices, along with promoting cultural exchange. Right now, from spring until the end of fall, we're open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. We open 363 days of the year. We're only closed on Christmas and New Year's. During the winter, we have winter hours where we close at 4 o'clock instead. We also do private events here, so if anyone wants to rent during the evening or sometimes during the day for business meetings and weddings, we also open for that.
Thanks to Meredith Lee and her team for their hospitality on our Nichi Bei Cafe visit. For our chef special tonight, our contributing writer Ben Hamamoto visits with Kendyl Sayuri Yokoyama, playing the female lead Eliza of the Tony Award-winning musical Hamilton. She talks about how she landed the role and talks about her Japanese-American background as well. Please enjoy, and we hope you find this next segment inspiring.
If there's any Broadway show that has debuted in this century that's become a household name, it's gotta be Hamilton, an American musical. The record-smashing, medium-redefining runaway hit is a legitimate cultural phenomena. And if you caught the current run, then you had the pleasure of seeing Kendyl Sayuri Yokoyama as the show's female lead, Eliza Hamilton. And if you're Japanese American, in addition to being moved by her outstanding performance, you might have also noticed her very Nikkei name, and maybe wondered about her heritage and its connection to her work. We at Nichi Bei News certainly did, so we caught up with Yokoyama to ask her about just that. Hi, Kendyl. Welcome to the Nichi Bei Cafe.
Hello!
It turns out her craft and career have a profound connection to both her family history and the Japanese American community, and she was eager to talk about
Amazing. And I don't get asked that as much as I would like, so this is perfect.
So we started at the beginning, delving into her family background.
Yes, I grew up in Ventura County, which is a little bit north of LA. I am fourth generation Yonsei on my mom's side. I think I'm technically a Sansei on my dad's side. Both my Bachan and Jichan were born in the States, grew up in Japan. I think it's the term is Kibei. On my mom's side, though, both of my Bachan and Jichan were born and raised in Hawaii. One, my Bachan was from Kapa, Kauai, and then my Jichan was from Hilo on the Big Island. That's why I feel very Yonsei, I feel.
Her family, it turns out, were really pivotal in cultivating her love of the arts.
So my parents love the arts. My mom, she's an optometrist now, but before that she wanted to be a dancer. My dad is a big movie buff. They were all very artistic in their own way and never really pursued it. Except for my Jichan that owned the movie theater, I suppose.
What she's referring to here is not just any movie theater. Kendall's grandfather, for a time, owned the famous Kokusai Theater in the Crenshaw. Constructed around 1952, the theater was originally the first African-American operated theater in Los Angeles, before becoming the Kokusai in the 70s, when it screened Japanese films for the JA community, making it a potent symbol of the overlapping Black and Japanese American history of that neighborhood.
When I found that out later in life, I was like, again, wow. I always thought that this theater thing came about in such a random way, but actually it's always been there. Deeply rooted in my family.
But the biggest thing connecting her career and her heritage might be traditional Japanese dance.
But the way that we tied ourselves to our roots, specifically on my mom's side, is that we have a love of Japanese dancing. And my mom, she got her natori, which is a professional Japanese dancer degree, and now she got her teaching degree, literally just last week. So I'm so proud of her, and that's how we really tied ourselves to our Japanese heritage.
Was that your first exposure to dance?
Actually, yes. I would say yes. I've been doing it since I can ever remember. Me and my twin sister Jordan have been doing that since we were little. Like the little dances that all the little girls do, to then getting to do the older girl dances later in life. We did Nisei Week a lot. That's where I think I met Tamlin Tomita. My mom encouraged us to go get her signature. I only stopped because I went off to college.
Kendall's family, though, and the Asian American community had a role in introducing her to Broadway-style musical theater as well.
My parents, they introduced me to Les Mis, 10th anniversary concert version of it, where Lea Salonga was playing Eponine. I wanted to listen to that in the car on the way back from school. I always assumed that Eponine was supposed to be Asian.
This may have had an influence on Kendyl being comfortable taking on roles not explicitly written as Asian.
My breakthrough role in theater was probably when I played Belle in Beauty and the Beast. It was at a community theater, High Street Arts Center in Moore Park, that I love, and I will always scream their name to the top of my lungs because they really gave me a lot of opportunities to be in a lead role and to be seen and to maybe make heads turn as to why there's an Asian Belle, but why not?
A particularly important role for Yokoyama was Peggy Maruyama in Allegiance, a musical based on George Takei's experience of incarceration during World War II that connected Kendyl to her own family history.
My Jichan, he's from Hiroshima. During the war, my Jichan came back to the States with his family. He was incarcerated. He didn't talk too much about the incarceration. The ireicho that came out at the Japanese American National Museum in LA, that it says that he both went to Jerome and Tule Lake.
Do you know anything about how he ended up in Tule Lake specifically?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that they said no and no, or at least their parents. My Jichan was not of age. He turned 18 right, and he enlisted right when the war ended. I hope one day they'll find some documentation of who said no and no.
While her maternal grandfather in Hawaii was not incarcerated, his wartime experience connects to the play as well.
And my Jichan, he served in the war. He was part of the 442nd Regiment and part of the MIS, and he has amazing stories. My aunt has a memoir of basically everything before he died.
Today, Yokoyama is best known, of course, for her role in Hamilton. And while the musical's popularity is universal, it has had several Asian American cast members, and Yokoyama has found meaningful opportunities to connect with them.
We had an Asian New Year's Day, so all of the Asians brought a food. It was our George Washington, Marcus Choi, and he brought in a lot of yummy Korean dishes. I brought ozoni. That was my first time making it alone, and I called my bachan, this is what I do, right? I do this, this, and that, and this ingredient, but if they don't have this at H Mart, what else can I get? Because there was only H Mart in Chicago, like no Mitsuwa, which is so sad for me. But that was exciting for me to show my Japanese heritage in that way.
Yokoyama isn't the only JA cast member. She's now joined by Sabrina Imamura and Taiko McCarroll, and she's aware of what their presence on stage means for the larger community.
And that's a new experience for me too. I've always been the only Japanese American in Hamilton, and now we have 3. I think the visibility that all 3 of us understand that Hamilton brings when all 3 of us are on stage is something that we have talked about and that we've shared, and that's been the most rewarding part, is to be able to meet the little Japanese American kids and adults that are so excited to see me, and that's more than that's always what I wanted, and I'm just so grateful I get to do that for other people.
Nichi Bei was grateful for the opportunity to talk to Yokoyama, and we hope you all have a chance to catch her in a performance of Hamilton during the current tour.
Thanks to Ben for that great story. And just a reminder, you can read in-depth articles about these Nichi Bei Cafe segments in our community news publication. So to do so, please be sure to become a member of the Nichi Bei Foundation, where you will receive our bi-monthly complimentary copy of the Nichi Bei News. And for that, visit us at nichibei.org/subscribe. Next up, for our cultural segment, we sit down with the musical directors of the local performing Taiko group, Jiten Daiko.
In our Japanese Culture and Cherry Blossom Festivals episode, we feature a performing taiko group out of the San Francisco Japantown area, based at the Buddhist Church of San Francisco, Jiten Daiko. We catch up with the relatively new co-directors of the Taiko group and their unique leadership styles and the intentional group dynamics that makes them unique and fun to both be a part of and see as an audience. Matt Blankenship, co-director, explains to us what Jiten Daiko is all about.
My name is Matt Blankenship, and I am one of the co-directors of Jiten Daiko. Jiten Daiko is many things. First and foremost, we are a Taiko performance group. So we get together twice a week to, hone the craft of playing Taiko and create some beautiful music and performance art together. Jiten Daiko is also an affiliate group with BCSF, Buddhist Church of San Francisco. So we like to involve ourselves as much as we can, as much as our members are able to, in the various events that BCSF puts on.
Matt Blankenship and Hiromi Inaba reflect on taking over as co-directors of Jiten Daiko as longtime member and director Galen Rogers decided to step back, considering they were relatively recent members to the group.
The first thing that came to mind is whoa, because Galen had been in the group for so long and it was hard to imagine a Jiten without Galen. He provided a lot of guidance and direction, but also what I think was cool about how Galen led the group is he would not lead and he would step back so there's space for other people to lead, and we really, go by our value of horizontal politics. And so it's really an art that Galen treated it as, leadership as art and knowing when to step in and step back and giving others the opportunity to grow and grow into themselves. And so he didn't come to both me and Matt and be do you want to be directors? It was more so that he really showed up to the group and was I'm thinking about transitioning out of the role. He didn't know what that looked like either. And so I think this was another way where we were going by this value of horizontal politics of how do we shape leadership structure in general. Galen was here for a long time, hasn't been for a long time, he's still present, but he doesn't want to, he was ready to move on to something else for his life. And we were all brainstorming together, and I think everybody naturally has their place in this group of how they really thrive based on their personalities and strengths and interests. And I think Matt and I, separately, while we were thinking about how we could contribute to the group, I think we had this, or at least for me, I had this just care for the group and passion for really just maintaining what Galen had created, that is Jiten Daiko. And I was nervous about being a leader in that more showy way or being the face of the group, but I did have a lot of confidence in terms of how I felt about each person in Jiten and just how much I cared. And I might not be good at logistics all the time, but I know I have the support of people, and I feel I could just give in that way, at least trying my best.
There was an element of Galen looks at the group and he's trying to figure out who might be able to take on this kind of abstract and soft role of directorship. So I think he was kind of searching for that. I also think I was really interested. I saw this as a difficult but hopefully rewarding challenge for myself. I hadn't I am always kind of looking, I think it's important to be connected with the place that you live, and this is one of the most direct ways I felt I could do that, right? If I can help Jiten be a San Francisco institution and help grow its reputation and make its art beautiful and all that, then that's my little contribution.
One of the unique things we observed at one of their practices is the reference to the Powerpuff Girls for certain rhythm groups, as Hiromi explains.
charms that I used, which was Blossom, Buttercup, and Bubbles. It was just a Blossom, Buttercup, yeah, Bubbles. That was just a reference to Powerpuff Girls, the cartoon. And I was just trying to like make it fun, honestly. And yeah, there were 3 different rhythm patterns we were learning. And I didn't want to just call them pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, because I feel like, for me, I would forget which one is which if I just use numbers, because we're counting all the time anyway. So yeah, I just came up with that. I thought it was an iconic like trio, Powerpuff Girls. I think somebody else actually suggested that when I was asking for ideas on that. But yeah, I think Taiko is really special because we don't use sheet music to learn. I think for memorization purposes and like just keeping track of repertoire purposes, we do have some like Google Docs or Google Sheets with like, notations, but for the most part, whenever we even compose or teach songs, like we need each other and our voices and our bodies to show how we play.
I think that this sort of energy that we bring to playing Taiko, like we ultimately we just love this so much, and we want everyone to share that feeling with us, right? And I think it's also a level of just like, I don't know, yeah, maybe spirituality is the right way to say it. Maybe it's like belief in what we do, but it feels so important, I think, to every member of Jiten to like play Taiko well and play Taiko with joy, and we hope to like bring that to every show we do.
You will regularly see Jiten Daiko at the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival or at the Buddhist Church of San Francisco's Obon. And for more information, visit jitendaiko.org. This is Greg Valoria for Tomo Hirai for the Nichi Bei Cafe.
Many thanks to Matt and Hiromi for their time during a busy performing season for the group. Now it's time for some news bites, our segment where we present quick takes on some articles from the pages of the Nichi Bei News.
Next is our news bites, highlighting events over the past month or so, including stories from the pages of the Nichi Bei News. Let's roll the news bites, please.
So let's roll the news bites. The news bites rolling. The Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival Queen Program crowned Kristi Satomi Ando its 2025 Queen on April 6th. The Queen Program was held at the Cowell Theater at the Fort Mason Center for Arts and Culture in San Francisco. Tara Lynn Kumi Tokiwa was named First Princess. Nanami Sumimoto, Kristi Aiko Yamashita, Hinako JC Miyake, and Risa Mori also round up the court. Japanese Americans have rallied against the Trump administration's attacks on the nation's immigrants, institutions, women, religious leaders, and trans people. Invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 on March 15th, the administration arrested and sent some 200 Venezuelans suspected of gang activity to a maximum security prison in El Salvador. The act was used to justify the mass incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II. Community members held press conferences on March 18th and 20th in LA's Little Tokyo and San Francisco's Japantown to criticize the administration. A call to action event followed in SF's J-Town on March 23rd. The Japanese American women alumni of UC Berkeley held their annual scholarship and awards luncheon at Cal's Alumni House on March 15th. The UC Berkeley undergraduate scholarship awardees are Maya Kramer, Brooke Kuratsu Botello, and Saya Tomlinson, as well as graduate fellowship awardee Meg Stomsky. The luncheon's outstanding alumna award recipient, Dr. Satsuki Ina, a California State Sacramento professor emeritus, licensed psychotherapist, documentary filmmaker, poet, writer, and mother, called on attendees to live your values, protect your rights, and speak up, and it's time we speak out today. She added, "The laws that are being enacted are the very same ones that brought us into those prison camps." Berkeley Mayor Adina Ishii gave the keynote, sharing the challenges of being a political leader during the Trump administration to defend the city's sanctuary status. Sue Kanagawa Yuan launched TaikoVentures in 2022 to support full-time Taiko practitioners with administrative tasks, tech support, and more so that they can focus on their art. Her LLC works with the San Francisco Taiko Dojo and Sacramento Taikodan, even providing their leaders with healthcare support. To learn more, visit TaikoVentures.com. Since 2006, the Ikebana Iwaya Fund has helped fund instructors to support the growth of the Japanese art form. The nonprofit's Midori Tanimune Memorial Teaching Scholarship Fund allows teachers to learn in Japan or support their own ikebana education in North and Central America. Since 2006, the Ikebana Iwaya Fund has helped fund instructors to support the growth of the Japanese art form. The nonprofit's Midori Tanimune Memorial Teaching Scholarship Fund allows teachers to learn in Japan or support their own ikebana education in North and Central America. People can donate to support programming and classes at www.ikebanaiwaya.org. For more up-to-date news like this, please be sure to subscribe to the Nichi Bei News, carrying on a legacy of 125 years of community leadership through media at www.nichibei.org/subscribe. Well, everyone, thanks so much for joining us for our 4th episode of Season 4. We hope that you enjoyed what we, and of course all of our featured chefs, cooked up for the cafe menu today, featuring stories from our Nichi Bei News Japanese Cultural Guide. And at this point, we want to give a big thanks to the Henry and Tomoya Takahashi Charitable Foundation for their continued support of the cafe. We're always appreciative of our collaboration with you in finding new ways to engage our Nikkei community. We would like to thank everyone for continuing to support our YouTube channel and hope you enjoy our future content featuring our Japanese and Japanese American community. So please continue to support us by telling your friends, family, and loved ones to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like this episode and comment down below. To stay in the know of more happenings in our Japanese American community, please consider becoming a member of our Nichi Bei community to help support what we do here at www.nichibei.org/subscribe. A lot of things are happening in the community. Next up, we will present a calendar of upcoming events. Yeah, by now it's like, I remember some of these lines, hopefully. For episode 4 of season 4, we will be featuring the stories from the California Cherry Blossom Festival here in San Francisco's Japantown. No. A lot of things are happening in the community. Next up, thank you. Nanami Sumimoto, Kristi Aiko Yamashita. Oh, these names, god damn it. It's always the names that get to me, man. The Japanese American women alumnae of, is it Alumnae? Alumni? Oh, really? Okay, I'll do that then. Yeah. That way I can do as many takes as I want. People can donate to support programming. No. Carrying on a legacy of 125 years of community leadership through media. For more up-to-date news like this, please be sure to, damn.